This changes everything for the Buffalo Bills as a shocking report reveals a wild roster update and a roster shakeup for the Buffalo Bills right before their game today against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bills Digest. And we've got a crazy video for you today that has massive implications for the rest of the Bills season, as well as for today's game, really, and their future. So be sure to stay tuned for the whole thing because I am going to give you guys all of the updates. And before we dive into this video, we've got just about 35 subscribers away from 1,500. So be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to hear all of these crazy Bills reports and updates as they happen on a daily basis. We've got you covered here on Bills Digest. Well, let's dive right into this video. And this is some crazy news for the Buffalo Bills, who, as many of you guys know, the receiver position has been a bit of a scary spot, has been in a scary spot, I should say, this season. Keon Coleman, who they drafted in the second round of the 2024 draft, has been disappointing, to say the least. He has really not earned the trust of Josh Allen. He has been inefficient, and he has just not produced the numbers that Bills fans or the Bills team has wanted to hear. And as many of you guys know, the Bills like to keep things very close to their chest. It is very, very rare that a report comes out that is not through their mouths. That is just kind of, they are very private. Really nothing ever gets leaked in Bills circles. So the fact that we had a bit of a leaked report is somewhat shocking. And that's why I had to bring you guys this video as soon as possible, because it's just so abnormal that we hear something like this. So I'm going to get into exactly what that is, but I do want to preface this roster issue the Bills have had at the wide receiver position. Keon Coleman has not lived up to the hype. He was their first overall pick in the 2024 draft, selected with the second pick of the second round, and he just hasn't lived up to the hype. Now, that has led Bills Mafia to clamor for the Bills to make a move at wide receiver. And instead of doing so at the deadline, they did so on the practice squad, bringing back Bills' former draft pick, Gabe Davis, who has had a really solid career with Buffalo. He has had multiple 7-touchdown seasons, over 2,700 yards with the Bills, and he comes back. He was signed to the practice squad after dealing with an injury-plagued 2024 season with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So good to have him back. He's been on the practice squad, and a lot of people within the Bills organization, including the MVP himself, Josh Allen, have said it's really nice to have Gabe back, a guy that he can trust. That's me putting it in his word, I guess. And we saw it with Jordan Poyer, what having a veteran leader can do for a team. And I think that Gabe Davis, even if he's not super productive on the field, one, he's a great run blocker, so that will help you regardless. And two, he's a guy that Josh Allen trusts. Josh Allen will throw him the ball in contested situations, and more often than not, Gabe Davis will, make a nice catch on the sideline or something like that. So he has his faults, there's no doubt about it, but good to have his veteran leadership back. And another move the Bills made was signing Mecole Hardman, the 3-time Super Bowl champion, to the practice squad. Hardman has really had some good success against the Buffalo Bills in years past with the Chiefs, obviously, and 3-time Super Bowl champion. He provides speed and versatility in the return game as well. So that's really why they signed him, just kind of a no-risk type of guy, and a guy that brings some extra speed, certainly the fastest in the receiver room that the Bills have right now. Now, what is the report that I have been alluding to? You're asking, just get to it already. All right, fine, I'm getting to it now. Well, according to a source, Keon Coleman will be a healthy scratch today against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a big big shakeup to the Bills wide receiver rotation, and a sign that they are starting to not trust their first overall pick in the 2024 draft. Now, this is way bigger and has more massive implications than just this game against the Buccaneers. This is for the entire season and the entire future of the Buffalo Bills. The fact that they are making Keon Coleman a healthy scratch despite hyping him up so much over the past year and a half says that maybe they're starting to not believe in him, and is really a telltale sign that they're on the verge of moving on from Coleman. There is a very real chance that in the offseason, the Bills trade Keon Coleman, because we have seen Keon's body language on the sideline, in some routes that he has just given up on it at times, and in the locker room where he just looks like he is lost out there. And I know he's a young guy. He has plenty of time to develop, as a person, as a receiver, as a football player, whatever it is. But as of right now, the Bills cannot trust him down the stretch when they need to win these games. And that is a massive red flag. That is exactly what you see before guys get traded out of nowhere. So I do want to put that in your guy's head, because there's a very real possibility that Coleman is gone after this year. Now, some other moves the Bills have made, and this is just recapping them. They signed Mecole Hardman from the practice squad. They released Brandon Codrington, which makes sense, as he is a kick return and punt return specialist, really, and Mecole Hardman can now fill that role. And they activated TJ Sanders from injured reserve. That's big time. More on that in just a couple of minutes. And then they elevated Gabe Davis and Kaleki Latu from the practice squad. Latu, a replacement for Dalton Kincaid, who I'll hear that is with Kincaid out. They wanted that third tight end, and Gabe Davis getting his first action since returning from the Jacksonville Jaguars. TJ Sanders was the final roster spot on the 53-man roster. More on him in just a minute. But these are some big time moves, and a lot of people as Bills fans, including myself, were saying, well, if they're going to activate Gabe Davis and Mecole Hardman, somebody is going to be inactive in this receiver room that we didn't quite expect, because that is too many receivers to have. It doesn't make sense. And that is where this report came in, that Coleman would be the healthy scratch. So pretty wild stuff out of, the Bills circles. And that is kind of the news I have for you guys on Keon Coleman. Now, there is some more news here for the Bills regarding today's game, and it's a guy I just mentioned in TJ Sanders. The Bills have activated Sanders, the second-round rookie, from IR, and this is a really important activation if TJ Sanders is able to go today against the Buccaneers, because Sanders, he struggled to start the year. There's no doubt about it, but that's okay. We cannot expect a rookie to come in and be dominant from the jump. We have seen several guys take a little bit longer to develop. Terrell Bernard, one of them. Christian Benford, one of them. Not everyone comes in like Deon Walker right away and is a presence on defense. So we've seen flashes from him. We know how the Bills feel about him as a player, as they traded up to get him in the second round. It'll be really nice to have him get some time to develop before the playoffs come to be. And really, right now, those are not a guarantee. So they've got to win some games before they get there. But Sanders is going to be a crucial part of that, especially with Fedarian Mathis out today. He is their one-tech nose tackle. So big-time news to get Sanders back. That's awesome to hear. And on the offensive side, it will be good to get Gabe Davis back, who, like him or not, he had some big time games with the Bills. Nearly 7 touchdowns in every season he played. He had some big time long receptions. He had a huge game in that 13-second game against the Kansas City Chiefs, where he should have been one of the heroes alongside Josh Allen, but the defense could not hold up. 4 touchdowns, over 200 yards in that game, an all-time performance among Buffalo Bills. And it is going to be really nice to have him back. He should get a nice ovation in Orchard Park today. And hopefully he gets some big opportunities, maybe get a touchdown grab or something like that. But let me know in the comments, guys, what do you guys think about this Keon Coleman situation? Do you guys think he could get traded in the offseason, or is that just me? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, and go Bills.